We have developing news on a breaking story. Steve Stevens, a Cleveland murder suspect accused of posting a video of the killing on Facebook, shot and killed himself today after he was spotted by the police in Erie County, Pennsylvania.
Also, UNLV held a debate on campus for the CSUN Executive Board elections. Later, we'll speak with one of the candidates running for Senate President. All this and more, you're watching Studio G.
Good afternoon, Rebels, and welcome back from spring break. I'm Kayleen Talons.
And I'm Lee Guilford.
The man who's accused of murder, then posting video of it on Facebook, is dead. State police say Steve Stevens was found Tuesday in Erie County, Pennsylvania, after someone spotted Stevens' car in the parking lot of a McDonald's and called police. After a brief pursuit, Stevens shot and killed himself. Stevens was wanted for killing Robert Godwin in Cleveland, Ohio, as Godwin was walking home from an Easter meal. Stevens then posted video of the murder on Facebook. Seconds before the shooting, Stevens asked Godwin to say the name of a woman believed to associated with the suspect. Stevens said, quote, "She's the reason why this is about to happen to you," unquote.
At approximately a little bit after 11 today, Pennsylvania State Police officers received a tip that the vehicle that we were looking for, the white Ford Fusion, was in a McDonald's parking lot near Erie, PA. Those officers responded. The vehicle fled from that area. There was a short pursuit in which the vehicle was stopped. As the officers approached that vehicle, Steve Stevens took his own life.
Stevens' mother, Maggie Green, said her son stopped by her house Saturday and gave her a cryptic message. He said that was the last time she was going to see him. They spoke briefly the next day when Stevens told her he was, quote, shooting people because he was mad with his girlfriend, unquote. Despite the horrific events, police still wish the events had unfolded differently. For 2 days, authorities scrambled to find Stevens after a manhunt across 5 states was issued. On Monday, Cleveland police advised residents of Michigan, Pennsylvania, Indiana, and New York that Stevens could be in one of those states. The hunt for Stevens soon expand nationwide. The police chief said Stevens apparently chose Godwin at random.
UNLV was the house of hope for many families this past weekend. Taimi Soto tells us why.
This start point initiated the first Walk of Hope done by Nevada Donor, a celebration to bring awareness for organ and tissue donations and to educate the community about the cause. The event took place at UNLV.
So our chief operating officer is actually a heart transplant recipient. He tends to be a little shy about sharing his story, but he's about 30 years post-transplant, and he played soccer here when he was in college. So he has a connection to UNLV. We have very much loyalty to UNLV. We're really excited to be here and partner with them for this amazing first-time event.
More than 400 people showed up to support.
It was good. It was challenging, but we just kept going, keeping the pace going, and I stayed pace and we finished, and it's awesome to be able to do it.
I received a kidney 6 months ago from an anonymous donor. I was doing dialysis for less than a year.
And you're her mom.
I'm her mother. I'm really thankful for this program because I really wish people were more aware of donating. My son was a donor, a tissue donor. He passed away in 2014, and I made that choice because I knew my daughter was going to be needing a donation. It really has changed my life. I'm very thankful.
Families enjoyed some refreshment, did activities, kids participated in an egg hunt for Easter, but most importantly, everyone were able to get educated.
It's really important to make that decision early. No one wants to talk about death and dying, but it's real life. It's a conversation you have to have because no one wants to be put in that position where they lose someone or, God forbid, something happens to them and they've never talked about it with their family and no one knows what they wanted. So talk about it early. It's never too soon to really have that conversation. And registering is really the way that you make sure your wishes are followed. So if anyone's interested, they're welcome to come over to our booth and get registered. They can go to our website, nvdonor.org, and you can actually even register just using your iPhone now. You go to your Health ID app, and the Medical ID tab will allow you to register as a hero.
For Studio G, Taryn Soto.
For more information and upcoming events, visit the Nevada Donor Network's Facebook page.
The Springs Preserve in Las Vegas recently opened their new Boomtown exhibit. Studio G reporter Giselle De Los Reyes had the chance to get a look at what it's all about.
The Springs Preserve is home to many exciting exhibits that is offered to the Las Vegas community. One particular exhibit will bring you back into time. The new Boomtown exhibit recreates a historical landscape that gives you the opportunity to be immersed in early Las Vegas history.
We're interpreting a time period from about 1900 to 1920, when Las Vegas was a railroad town. In that time period in early Las Vegas, life was a lot different. And so we're trying to show people, show our visitors, show our guests here at the Springs Preserve what life was like in early Las Vegas. By understanding your history, kind of understanding where people come from, it helps connect you to a place a lot better.
Boomtown allows guests to be interactive and is unique from the other museums that Springs Preserve offers.
Part of our goal here at the Springs Preserve is to teach people how to live in the Mojave Desert, to teach people about our history and about our culture. But this is unique in that you're actually immersed. You're actually walking around inside these buildings and you're experiencing what the town was like back then. It's tough for me to say what my favorite is because I think each of these buildings are they're distinct and special in their own way. I think the Depot is fantastic. To have a recreation of the Depot is incredible. The Arizona Club is unique with the leaded glass windows and sort of the brick columns. It's really special. The bank is fantastic too. So you have this sort of revival Greek architecture with the pediments and the columns, and so that's really cool too. But really, in my mind, it's the cottages, the actual real buildings, are the special thing.
With this being its first year in the exhibit, Springs Preserve has big hopes.
With any large exhibit like this, you go through the first few months and you figure out what works and what doesn't work. So we're still working our way through that. Some of our interactive exhibits we're going to have to do some more work on, figure out exactly, fine-tune them, get them to work better. But one thing we're going to be working on is we're going to try to get our volunteers in costume and have some more living history type pieces happening out here.
Boomtown is a clear reminder to never forget your roots. For Studio G, I'm Giselle De Los Reyes.
For more information on hours and what else Boomtown has to offer, check out springspreserve.org.
After the break, we'll take a look at news around the rest of the country.
I think we're feeling like excited about the prospects. We know we're going to drop a lot of time, hopefully break a few records, and I think that the team is ready to go.
I'm pretty excited. We've done very well as a team this year, and I think coming into taper, I think we're going to do really well these next few weeks.
Name is the Rebel and Revolt show. Pretty good show about, just someone who will actually talk about UNLV the way an outsider might feel. We talk about current events, we talk about politics, try to take an offensive swing with it. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but and we talk about, the little things in life that everybody laughs about. And we are the Rebels and we are revolting. My name is Jameson Wilk and I run the Rebel and Revolt show, and you can tune in at therebelhd2.com.
And we're back. Let's take a look at some of the things going on in our state. What do you have for us, Jamie?
Thank you, Lee and Kayleen. I'm Jamie Poole, and I have your local news for today. Registration for the 2017 to 2018 school year is now open for Clark County School District students. Family with current students can register now on the parent portal through Infinite Campus at campusportal.ccsd.net. Those new to the district can begin their registration process at register.ccsd.net. If needed, parents can register at the schools on their computers. School will begin on August 14, 2 weeks earlier than last year's date. start date. The district strongly encourages parents to register before August 14th since state funding methods are based on enrollment data. A Clark County School District custodian was arrested Saturday on 3 counts of unlawful contact with a minor or mentally ill person. 56-year-old Jesus A. Acosta is the 11th school district employee to be arrested this year in connection with inappropriate behavior from last July to April. That number tops the total of 10 arrests made in each of the 2 previous school years, according to the district. The Metropolitan Police Department made the arrest and provided no details on what led to the arrest. Acosta was a custodian at Tarkanian Middle School and was hired by the district in 2014. As of Monday afternoon, Clark County Detention Center records showed that Acosta remained in custody. 5 fires happened within minutes of each other Sunday morning near Las Vegas Boulevard South. Fire Department spokesman Tim Szymanski said investigators are searching for a link between the fires, but have yet to find a common thread between them, other than the time proximity of the fires and the time frame that they occurred in. The sequence of fires began at 5:23 a.m. with a dumpster fire. The second fire was called in at 5:34, also a dumpster fire, and only a block away from the previous fire. 1 minute later, Clark County and Las Vegas firefighters responded to a third fire at the Oasis Motel, where a vehicle, palm tree, and some grass were on fire. The fourth fire, which both departments responded to, was at 5:44 a.m. with a vehicle fire at the Stratosphere Hotel. The fifth and final fire was reported at a vacant 1-story building 1 block east of the Stratosphere. At 5:51 a.m., the last fire was the only one that resulted in damage to a building, causing about $10,000 in damages and no reported injuries. Szymanski said it is not uncommon to see multiple fires in a small area. Sometimes people are responsible, but other times it's just a coincidence. Speaking of fires, according to Clark County officials, a Thursday night fire at the Bellagio Hotel has been deemed accidental and caused by a faulty light fixture. The light fixture was on an exterior wall of the north retail wing of the building. Crews were called to the resort at about 10:45 Thursday and arrived within 5 minutes. Firefighters initially initially had difficulties reaching the flames due to the location of the fire and also strong winds. The interior of the building was not damaged and no injuries were reported. However, damages to the exterior of the building was estimated at about $450,000. Today is the last day to file taxes for those who haven't done so already. The extended deadline has many Las Vegas residents rushing to tax service centers in an attempt to avoid getting hit with the late penalties. Taxpayers received an extra 3 days to file taxes since the traditional April 15th tax day fell on a Saturday and Monday was a holiday for many IRS processing centers. Nationwide, nearly 40 million Americans wait until the deadline to file their taxes, and this year more are expected to procrastinate. The New York Times reported that Americans spend more than 6 billion hours gathering records and filling out forms. H&R Block office manager D. Green Drummond suspects the cause of the late filers is the dread of owing the government money. The post office on East Sunset Road will be open until 10 p.m. tonight. That's all that I have for your local news segment. Now to Jessica for the weather.
Good afternoon, Las Vegas. I'm Jessica Vargas. Let's take a look at our weather for the day. We're at 80 degrees, our high being 84, low 60. It's mostly sunny. We are having wind speeds at 23 miles per hour, so it looks like we haven't been able to get away from that wind here in Vegas, but hopefully it calms down throughout the week. As for our picture of the day here, this is from Washington, D.C., so they have a really nice temperatures. They're at 72 degrees out, so they're doing very well. You can see the couple here that are taking a little bike ride throughout the city, so it's looking like a pretty nice day for them, a little bit like here in Vegas. As for a 5-day forecast, so for Wednesday, which is tomorrow, we're at 83 degrees, sunny, low 62, Thursday 86, Friday 83, Saturday 88, and Sunday we're at 95 degrees. So our lowest for the evening would be 61, and that's for Thursday and Friday. So it's looking like a very beautiful week and weekend. As you can see, our highest will be 95. So for all those people out for the weekend, make sure you do the outdoors, do some activities, and just enjoy. As for our valley, we're at Centennial 77 degrees, Las Vegas 80, Henderson 83. So it's looking high 70s, low 80s throughout. Our highest would be 83 in Henderson, and our lowest would be Centennial and Summerlin at 77 degrees. As for here at UNLV, we're at 80 degrees, sunny, wind speeds at 23 miles per hour, humidity is at 25%. So 80 degrees, not too bad, right? So for students, professors, I know I always say this, but hang out at Pida Plaza, you know, you can read your book before class. It's a beautiful day to be outside. As for UNLV here, we're at 61 degrees, clear skies, wind speed, we're still at 23 miles per hour. So we haven't been able to get away from that, but our humidity is at 35%. So 61 degrees, again, it's pretty nice for the evening. As for a national forecast, we have the Northwest that we're experiencing a lot of rain. We have the Midwest, and we also have a little bit of rain here, as you can see. But overall, our temperatures aren't too low. Our lowest would be in Seattle at 57 degrees, and our highest would be El Paso, Texas with 90 degrees. So we're doing very well. And that's it for your weather today. After the break, we will sit down with one of the candidates running for CSUN Senate President to discuss the debate that happened last night and what her goals for the student body are. We'll be right back.
This is a nutrition center. Anyone from the Las Vegas community is welcome. We can get more people into the nutrition center, get them more educated, then they can learn what ways to prevent chronic diseases and to become healthier individuals. All classes are held in BHS building, Bigelow Health Sciences, room 212, and the times vary, but you could always check them at the UNLV calendar or UNLV Today, and all the classes, times, and descriptions are available there.
As far as Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing, you get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own, and that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
The show's name is the Rebel and Revolt show. Pretty good show about, you know, just someone who will actually talk about UNLV the way an outsider might feel. We talk about current events, we talk about politics, try to take an offensive swing with it. Sometimes it's hit or miss, but and then we talk about, you know, the little things in life that everybody laughs about. And we are the Rebels, and we are revolting. My name is Jameson Wilk, and I run the Rebel and Revolt show, and you can tune in at therebelhd2.com.
Welcome back, Rebels. My name is Malika Powell, and I am sitting down with CSUN Senate President candidate on the ticket hashtag Team No Sleep, Taryn Cole. Taryn, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background with CSUN?
Yes, I've held many positions, including the chair of the Ways and Means Committee. I currently sit as the Senate President pro tempore and chair of the Oversight Committee. So what I am right now is the right-hand woman to the Senate President currently sitting, and I have revised a lot of the Ways and Means Committee's processes. For example, I've shortened the wait time from quite a few weeks, 6 weeks, down to 2 weeks when I was chair. I also assigned liaisons to each RSO, now coming through the Ways and Means process, so that they know someone that is on their side, that wants to support them, and when it comes to the Senate floor, that they know they're going to get funding.
No, that sounds wonderful. And let's talk about a little bit about the debate last night. What do you think is the biggest takeaway that we could take from it?
For my team, specifically, that we are passionate, we are here for the students, and I think that we are most representative of everyone, you know, that wants a voice. There right now, one of the concerns that some of our team members have faced is that we're talking to these students, and some of them are saying, you know what, CSUN is not targeted towards me. I'm a fine arts student, I'm a science student, and I never hang out around the student union. I never get to see those free events with food and things like that, or I don't need concert tickets. How am I going to get my money's worth from paying into CSUN? And every single undergraduate student pays into CSUN. So what we want to do is kind of make the events revolve a little bit around them, and we hope that our takeaway is that we want to make sure that we're reaching more students if elected.
And I understand that your team is working towards some green dot training for student organizations. Can you explain a little bit about what that means and why you think it's important?
So it's extremely important right now. About a month ago, 14 cars were broken into in that parking lot over behind the dorms, and that's awful. I dormed for 2 years, and even though I dormed in a different part of that, to me, all of our cars are parked over there. These students call this place home, and for them to have their cars broken into, not a single camera over there to see exactly what happened. Our ticket stands for more cameras, and also to mandate this green dot training among RSOs. This would probably incentivize students to join an RSO because we want to fund some of the trainings to different leaders in RSOs, registered student organizations, and through this, on their website, it's actually available to all of the students. There are locations where it shows where sexual assault is most likely to happen, and we are going to stand against that. We had a person come up to one of the Senate meetings a couple weeks ago and say that they were assaulted on campus. That was one of our own students who had the courage to come and speak to us, and we can't imagine how many don't have the courage to come and speak, especially out loud on a public forum. So we want to make sure that all students get a voice, and by training more and more students and putting our CSUN resources towards that, we can better inform students on how to deal with that and how to best represent students who are going through that.
And this is not just for sexual assault. This is, like you said, for car theft or maybe actual assault on campus.
Well, the surveillance would be going towards car theft and even just knowing that someone has our back and has the students' backs when we're looking for any of the suspects. Because right now there aren't a lot of cameras on campus. I know that they're trying to put cameras in the new hotel college and even a few of the other buildings that have a lot of technology, but there aren't really a lot of cameras. I would challenge the average student to walk around and look for them. There aren't any on campus. There aren't many in the areas that we're walking on, especially at night. And some of that part of the academic mall is very scary. There's lots of bushes. Half of it is not well lit. And we want to make sure that we prevent that through the green dot training, through increased lighting and increased surveillance.
That sounds wonderful. And another thing that you were mentioning was getting students more involved that are all over campus. So having events that aren't necessarily just in the student union, but in other locations. Where are some of these other locations and why do you think it's important?
It's important because we want students to know that we are representing them. Right now, some of the students that hang around the student union are students who are already in clubs, who are maybe in the business, the hotel college, maybe even Greenspun, but really we're not going to the fine arts, the sciences, and really any students who walk over there or who don't have to hang out in the student union, say they bring a lunch and say they only have time to go to their class and leave. We're not seeing them as they go to classes. All of our events revolve around this PETA Plaza. We want to make sure that we're going to the fine arts area over by HFA, we're going to TBE, we're going to the dark side, and that's the name of it. We want to make sure that even if it is like the nice, more natural part of the campus, that we have people representing CSUN over there telling students what it is. And we also want to make sure our events are tailored to students and different needs, not always necessarily about concerts and things like that, but that we're giving students opportunities for town halls to talk about the events and the issues that they care about.
What would you say is the biggest issue during this election, and how is your team tackling it?
I think safety has come up quite a bit. I think with some of the break-ins, one of the things that Senate has tackled in the past year was trying to get more emergency phones on campus, and it's been over a year. And the senator who brought that up, she's very passionate about this issue, and we haven't seen anything like that coming about. So the Senate is already holding them accountable. So with the talk of new phones, we want new surveillance, we want better lighting. Like I mentioned about the academic mall, there's a lot of huge bushes, taller than I am, that anyone could probably sit in at nighttime. There aren't a lot of lighting fixtures over there. We want to make sure that that is, I guess, brought to light. From both tickets, I think we've been tackling safety a lot and really student engagement. How can we better reach out to students? In the last election, the person won with 987 votes, I think. And that's a 900 students, less than 1,000, when 23,000 undergraduate students attend here, and they don't even know about the election, or if they chose not to vote, that's a different story. But we want to make sure more students know about the election, know about CSUN, and it's a proactive partnership, so they don't know about it just at the election, but they're engaged with us throughout the year.
Oh, perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming and sitting down with us today. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much for being with us today. We'll be right back after these short messages.
get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major. You have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
Disgraced opened at UNLV's Black Book Theater on March 31st and is continuing to play in their Cockroach Theater until April 23rd in downtown Las Vegas. The winner of the 2013 Pulitzer Prize for Drama, Disgraced is an unflinching exploration of sex, religion, and cultural assimilation. The story follows a successful Pakistani-American lawyer, Amir Kapoor, who is a lawyer and is rapidly moving up the ladder while getting away from his cultural roots.
I thought it was really good. It's something that you don't see at UNLV very often. I actually hadn't heard about this play before, and I found out later on that it's actually a very popular play. And so I thought it was great that they brought it over to UNLV so I could, I would have never heard of it otherwise.
When Amir Kapoor and his wife Emily Brandon host a dinner party, it starts as a friendly conversation, but then takes a wrong turn. You then start to realize Amir's character a little after he helps his nephew's case defending a man of Muslim faith. His career and personal life begin to go downhill. Where things really started to stir between his guests was when Amir denied his true Pakistani heritage. The conversation went to religion, race, and violence.
What? Are you having an affair with my husband?
Nobody's having an affair.
I walked in here and they were kissing. That is not true, Amir. That's not true. They were kissing there.
That's not what was happening.
I know what I saw. Isaac told me about them making you partner. I know how much longer Amir has been there than you. I was upset. I was crying.
I was consoling her.
By kissing
We
her?
were not kissing.
Why do you keep saying that? Are you?
The clip that you just watched was a scene leading up to domestic violence occurring. This play is different than maybe plays here at UNLV because it showed Amir slap his wife and then kicked her while she was on the floor. This showed how troubled Amir was in the end of the play. He ended up losing his job, his wife, and his own house. Tickets are available at the box office for $20, but students will qualify for a discount. Don't miss out on this award-winning play at UNLV.
The city of Long Beach has a lot going on. The well-traveled Lee Guilford visited the town during the Formula One race. Here's what he found.
I'm Lee Guilford. Today we're here in Long Beach, California. There's a lot going on. We're checking out landmarks, historic sites, and even the Long Beach Grand Prix. I'm currently standing outside the home where the television show Dexter was filmed. Dexter, a show about a serial killer, had gained popularity amongst young people in recent years. Sandy beaches and a historic waterfront lend to Long Beach's character.
When they say yes, I say no. They want me to stay, but I gotta go. That's how it is, I ain't gonna change. You like the sun, but I like the rain, and there ain't nobody gonna tell me how to do my thing.
The race was absolutely exhilarating.
Say at the end of the day that when it's all done, I did it my way. When they say
For Studio G, I'm Lee Guilford.
they say water and I say wine. You live your life and I'll live mine, and there ain't nobody gonna tell me.
Thanks for letting us know what our neighbors to the south do for fun without the benefit of the Las Vegas Strip. For more information on this lively Southern California town, go to www.visitlongbeach.com. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Studio G, and make sure to follow us on social media. I'm Kayleen Talents.
And I'm Lee Guilford. We want to wish our floor director, Denise, a very happy birthday. We'll be back again tomorrow, folks.